300 is where I'm convinced. But that's combined. That's including your. I have 20% rarity in my Atlas, and I have 2 charms for 40. So if you look at my gear, I have 242 in gear. I have 40 in my charms, right? 282, and then I have 20 in my Atlas. So I'm at 302, just straight raw, and that for me is feels significantly better. Like I said, so if I can drop these 2 charms, and it shoots my DPS up to, because I free up like Icebreaker and stuff like that in my passives, which I get to put raw damage in. I'm sitting at about 165k DPS if I do that, which, you know, well, actually, so I can go 165k or I can get more mag too, whatever. I'm kind of experimenting right now, but again, 150k is the next breakpoint I wanted to reach. We're there comfortably. Like I said, I can go quite a bit higher relatively easily with some passive changes, but again, I'm trying to balance the best overall, and with finding that sweet spot in rarity again, because I'm trying to build the most comfy map farm build that I can come up with overall, and so far this is it, and I'm confident in it. Yeah, I actually last night I was gonna make a video update guide because I've been gone, just so you guys are aware. I've been gone for literal week. I haven't played the game in an actual week, haven't logged in. I've been back for a couple of days now, though, getting back in the swing of things. Like I said, we just broke the 150k mark, and I got a very good gauge on, at least for me, again, the 300 rarity. But anyway, so I'm gonna go over the stuff real quick, give you guys the new juice, at least where I'm at with it, what I'm thinking about it, where I'm trying to go from it for now. Of course, the next increment, right? We had 50k, 100k, we're at 150k. Next, probably 200 plus k, right? We'll just keep going with it. And again, staying as comfy as possible. So that being said, if you guys want to see the spark sheet, this is a very important piece to compare. You could look at this and compare it to your own, kind of see where you're at. Pay attention, like my cast time, right? That goes down with more mana, I believe. So I'm at 0.2 at the moment. My cast per second, I'm finally at the 5. Remember, in a lot of my other videos, I talked about that being the sweet spot. At least that's my target. I want to be right around that 5 cast per second. We're there. Crit chance is a little lower than I had before, but overall, you know, I think, like I said, the changes are worth. I gave up a little bit of damage in favor of, again, being able to add in the rarity. I'm giving up a lot of damage for rarity, but again, I'm at 300 rarity, so 150k with 300 rarity. I'm very happy with that, and I feel comfy, right? I got 5k energy shield and I got 6k mana, and so yeah, it just feels overall feels like where I'm trying to be. A lot of work, a lot of tedious, a lot of changes. Like I said, I try a lot of different things, the passive, whatever, and I will continue to, but yeah, so again, my Pierce, I still got that, the 100%. That's through jewel. I have 3 jewels that give me 50%, well 53, and then I got my amulet anointed for the other 50, which is where I'm getting 103 crit damage. I got some of that in jewels and passives. Shield duration, honestly, I'm not sure where that comes from. Again, we talked about the rarity. 242 from just straight gear. I have 40 from charms and then 20 in my Atlas for a total of 302, just raw straight up, not including any map mods or anything like that. And then the mana regen is from Clarity. I got that because I corrupted a helmet and got 20 spirit luckily on it. And honestly, if it would have hit, I think it can get up to 30 spirit. If it would have hit 30, I probably would have did Grim Feast over Clarity. But because, like I said, it hit 20, I put that in. That was a solid change. I also, well, I'll go over my gear here soon, but I also added in mana regen here and here at the same time. And when I did both of those, like I added Clarity and I added the 44 here. So over 70% mana regen, and it made a big difference. Like it felt so much better in terms of sustaining my mana. But yeah, so like I said, stat sheet there, Spark, big stuff. I will say on the topic of Spark, you can see I have level 28 Spark. I don't know what it is. Maybe if somebody watches the video can comment on this, but I had a level 20 max gem, right? Not including like my global modifiers or whatever. I had a level 20 max gem Spark, and it didn't change any gear, didn't do anything. I ended up corrupting it and getting a corrupted +1 Spark, and it ended up like it didn't change anything in my tooltip. I don't know why. I don't know, like not damage, nothing. Like I think there are breakpoints for projectiles. You can see I'm at 21 projectiles right now. So like I believe there are breakpoints for that, but I felt like corrupting it and at least getting a +1 level, because plus levels are insanely strong. At least, you know, from gear and stuff. Like my new wand is a +5 now, and it jumped my DPS like 20k from them 2 levels. So I don't know why that is. Maybe it's bugged. Maybe I don't understand what like I don't know. But I didn't get any gain that I could see from a tooltip perspective or hovering over it. Like, it didn't increase my lightning damage, didn't increase anything when I corrupted it originally. So since then, though, like I said, I upgraded my wand, got a couple more whatever, and obviously it's gone up then. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. So I don't know if it's worth wasting your time, because it's pretty costly and can be costly to get a corrupted spark 6-link, right? Because you got to 6-link it, get a 20 quality, and then corrupt it. So it's a very potentially costly thing to do. But as far as I can tell, it doesn't seem like it's worth. I also did it on Archmage. Archmage, same thing. It didn't really give me a damage boost, but it did. I did notice, like, on the bottom portion, it said the spells cost an additional % of mana. It went down 0.05. So again, I don't know, probably not worth, especially if it's bugged. But anyway, so we'll talk about the where I'm at with the skills, and you'll see Orb of Storms. I actually have one gone at the moment because, again, I'm still working things. I just got back. I've been gone trying to test things, figure things out, and I'm running double shock, of course. So I actually had overcharge in my Orb of Storms. I was running it there. So actually, I'm probably gonna put Strip Away back in here now that I'm thinking about, like, now that I'm seeing this, just so you guys are aware. But so yeah, Sigil Power, we got Magnified Effect to make it bigger. I will say also, don't forget to get the quality 20% on your staff. And the important things on staff, in my opinion, cast speed and you know, plus skills to hit your breakpoint to get that higher increment of whatever it is. I'm not sure honestly what the actual breakpoints are for the Sigil Power, but I think it is a breakpoint based thing to get more damage from it. Maybe every skill counts, but I want to say it's more breakpoint. But for me, this is just the best I could get for relatively cheap at the time. 5 skill, cast speed is super important to be able to cast it faster, and really that's kind of the most important part. Mana is a bonus, right? Of course. But yeah, the 20% quality on it gives it a little bit bigger radius, and then a magnified effect, of course, gives it even bigger yet. So just a little min-max thing on that for when you're trying to kite around and do things if you need to, like for events or whatever. Spark, like I said, we're over the 150k comfortably. This is very comfortable. I could get it significantly higher if I really wanted to. But again, overall 300 rarity, 150k, 5k shield, 6k mana when I'm on my, you know, on my spark. Very comfy. I do have tempo, inspiration, acceleration, and again, I have overcharge at the moment for the double shock, the magnitude, just to make it like bosses and you know, a little bit bigger of mobs die a little bit quicker. And I do think that seems to be a little bit better than I was running the skill effect duration, but I have a jewel that gives me some of that now. So like I offset it. It's not quite as much as I had, obviously, but I have so much damage now that this feels pretty. This is a newer change. Like I said, I was actually running it down here, that's why it's gone, but I moved it up here and I kind of like it here. It feels good overall. I was running maps I was running earlier with like increased, I wanted to say the mob health was like 112% more or something, and like I couldn't really feel much of a difference. I'm sure if they had like resist, I don't think they had resist on top of that, but if they had like a ton of resist, well, actually no, some of them had lightning res in it. Those are the only ones that didn't like insta die, and then I just hit them with the conductivity, and then it's, you know, lights out. But so yeah, I think it's overall, I kind of like the change so far. Again, it's a newer one, but I do like that. Shout out to Hysteria for that. He kind of said something about that gem. I knew about the gem, like I've seen it before, and in terms of I just haven't dabbled into the magnitude side of things yet, which I'm starting to. Again, just bit by bit, polishing things up. Consider casting, that's like I had before, same thing. And then, like I said, Orb of Storms, I'm probably going to go back to Strip. I think it was called Strip Away. Lightning Exposure, Strip Away. I'm using Bludgeon. And this was not even my idea. This is a shout out to, I think, somebody on one of my YouTube comments. I think somebody in the YouTube comments, I want to say. Unfortunately, I don't know the name, but if you're watching, shout out to you. He said something about Bludgeon. Try it out to see if like it just knocks enemies back. So the way I play with my orb is I put it between me and either the mobs I'm farming or the boss or whatever. Doesn't really knock bosses back, I don't think, but like little mobs, it kind of seems to hold them back a little bit more, which is just, you know, if they even reach you. That's more like I said, depending on the map. Some maps, if they have super fast speed on them and they're like resistant, 50 resist or whatever, and like they have more life, you know, they can potentially reach you even with crazy DPS. So it's just, again, a little way to help min-max and offset map to map, so you don't really have to worry too much about the map choices. But yeah, and then Font of Mana, of course, for the mana regen. Conductivity, nothing changed here. Heightened Curse, Focus Curse, and Hex Bloom. The reason, again, Hex Bloom, honestly, I don't use Conductivity that often. The only time I use it is, again, a really juice up map that has like a lot of lightning resist stuff or LE resist stuff, and like double max life on mobs or whatever. And if it's a rare, I'll throw it on it quick, and that and bosses. That's the only time I'm actually using it. But Hex Bloom is nice for, like I said, them super tanky packs, because you just have to hit any of them once they die. It's just like a trickle effect. I really like it. Mana Tempest, we're running Premeditation and Energy Barrier. Honestly, I'm not sure if Energy Barrier is really doing much. I don't even use Mana Tempest that much either. I kind of will like just throw it in here and there, like for setups, initial setups, and then step out so I don't use too much mana. Because when you have the quality 20% on that, it lasts for a second on a stepping out of it. So like I just kind of use that as like a pre to get me ahead of the curve type stuff, I guess, for events and whatever. So honestly, I'm not using it that much. I just have so much damage now that, not say, like I said, I do throw it in here and there, but it's just kind of whenever I can, I just throw it in for a second. So yeah, Energy Barrier, not sure how much value that has, but again, it's kind of free. Why not? Blink, you guys know about that. I talked about that before. That's on my weapon swap 2. And I'm probably going to put Ingenuity on that now that I'm running Double Shock, because I was running it in the Tempest Caller or whatever for my Elemental Storm. So I just need to get Dex for that. I just haven't done it yet, but I'm probably going to put that in there for extra cooldown reduction on it, just to make you know, a little bit faster. But the main thing, I've talked about this in other videos too, you have this on Weapon Swap 2. That's where it's just another way to min-max your staff, because your staff basically is for your Sigil Power, which again you use for events. Like if you're going to start an altar, or you're going to pop an essence guy or anything like that, you just put your, or even a breach, you just put your sigil down beforehand, pump a couple out, and then start the event, and pretty much everything melts instantly, and it's just a very comfy way to do it. But yeah, so sigil power obviously on the staff, but then you also do the blink, and you also do and conductivity as well. If you look at my conductivity, it's weapon 2. And then when we get to the passives, again, if you didn't watch any of the previous videos, you'll see why that is. So conductivity, blink, and sigil of power, which is just the implicit on the staff, are the main sources of the weapon swap. And when you do that, when you make it only weapon swap 2, that's how you're able to use blink, right? Because I don't have enough spirit for it on my weapon swap 1. But again, when you automatically swap, you'll see it just automatically does it for you. Swap back, and then it switches back to Archmage. It's all automated once you have it set up correctly. And that's how you utilize that. So Archmage, again, I corrupted it. I didn't see any damage increase, but I did see the max mana reduced by 0.05. Probably not worth. I mean, Archmage was significantly easier to corrupt though, than obviously the Spark. You have to, again, 20 quality, but also get it a 6 link, right? And then corrupt it. It's a little scary, but it's scary to think about. Like I said, it could be very costly to do it. Archmage was way easier though, and keep in mind, you don't actually do it on a 20 gem. If you are going to attempt to corrupt it like I did, what you want to do is like get a level 18 gem, right? Whether it's a skill gem if you're doing Spark or Archmage. Try it on Archmage first. You get a level 8, as long as, to my knowledge, I don't think it's a bug. I don't know, maybe it got patched. If it was, I don't know. But the way I did it was, I used a level 18 gem. And I honestly, I should have put a lesser jeweler orb on this. Now that I think about it, I might do that at some point, because again, this one's significantly easier to do, because you just do a level 18 gem, right? You basically get it 20 quality, right? And then again, if in hindsight, I would add just a lesser jeweler orb, because they're dirt cheap, just to get 1 extra socket, even if I didn't use it, just to have it, because you never know. But in hindsight, I do that. But yeah, so you do that, get it quality 20, and then corrupt it. And if it fails, again, just do another level 18 gem. You basically do it on level 18 gems until you hit the +1. And then after that, you upgrade it to a 19 and then upgrade it to a 20. And you're done. So that's the same process for Spark. But like I said, Spark is a lot more costly, because you have to not only get it quality 20 before corrupting it, you have to get it 6 link before corrupting it. But you can do that on a level 18 as well. So at least you don't have to do it on 20 gems every single time. It's just a cost-effective way to do it. If it's still, I don't know if it's, like I said, I don't know if that was technically a bug or not. I just know like for corrupted pieces of gear, you can still put sockets in, right? Well, for skill gems, you can still upgrade the gem even if it's corrupted. So, or you could. So yeah. Anyway, so that's skills. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's very detailed for y'all. Gear, we'll go over this. I did get some upgrades in gear, just so you guys are aware. I'm pretty proud of the wand. So last night, I actually crafted my first. I found my first +5. Well, I crafted my first +5 wand. It ended up hitting really good rolls, but the stats were really low. So what I did was, after I got off stream, I traded that one and I traded my old one, because I had a really good +3 old one, and I ended up getting around like 10 divs, something like that. And then the couple divs I had on top of it, I ended up trading. I don't know if this was a good deal or not, but I ended up basically combining the one I crafted yesterday, the +5, and my original one I was using, and I sold them for divs, and then I took those divs and added a couple on the top. For 12 divs, I ended up getting this. So again, I don't know. I know that it's skyrocketed my damage though. And the extra cold damage is not ideal, I don't think, but the spell damage is a really good roll. Obviously it has over 100 mana. It also has 27 int. So when you combine the two, again, we're over that 150 mark, which I always try to hit on every piece minimum. It's got cast speed, and of course the +5 plus skills are insane in the game. Even though, so my +3 was like 90 lightning and like 50 spell, and like every really like 160 mana. I think it was like 18 cast speed. I don't know, but it was like really, like every slot was really good and a high roll, but it was only a +3. And even the wand that I crafted that was less than, it only had like 29 mana on it. I think it had like 30 spell damage. It basically was the same wand except for like way lower rolls, and then instead of int, it had mana regen, and it only had like 9% cast speed, but it was a +5, and it still out damaged my +3 like juiced up one, which was crazy to see. So after seeing that, right, like I said, I kind of basically combined the two, and this is the best I was able to get, and it skyrocketed my damage. Like I said, I was at like 165k DPS sheet. I was at 150 like I am now, and then this upgrade on the wand alone shot me up to like 164 something, like basically 165, and that's where I dropped back down though, because again the other day I was running, my charms are a little bit different, so I was getting more DPS in favor of like just using stun and freeze charms, but again I dropped that DPS back to the 150, added that rarity, and it feels, like I said earlier, if you guys didn't hear me, 300. People are saying 200. Dude, I'm telling you, 300 is where you want to be. But that's combined. That's including your charms. That's including your atlas and your gear. For me, with my atlas, my 2 charms, and my gear, I'm at 302 rarity, and it feels phenomenal. I'm talking like just raw div drops and exalt drops and stuff like that. You do want quantity, like on your your tablets and in your maps, of course. But I still think you need that rarity, man. I'm telling you. And 260 didn't feel like it was enough. I don't know why, but for me, at least for me, I played what 7-8 hours yesterday at 262, and it was like, it was not good, dude. And maybe it was just today, maybe it was a fluke, I don't know, but both days that I had the 300 are the best. Well, I guess I'm just getting started today, but like I said, right off the rip, created jeweler orb, div orb, exalts everywhere. It was just night and day feeling, so I'm convinced. Anyways, so yeah, wand. Sorry, I as you guys know, if you've seen my other videos, I do like to talk a lot, right? We'll move on. So wand, awesome upgrade. The helmet, 20 spirit, I corrupted that, ended up getting lucky with that, and that added that clarity, like I said, for mana regen. I upgraded this, corrupted this as well. I thought, honestly, so when I had this originally, it was 923 energy shield before I hit the corrupt on it, and I was like, bro, if I hit the corrupt, it's gonna break 1,000. It fell 12 short, dude. I was so sad, but it's still a really good chest. I think, in my opinion, this is the best chest type to get if you're doing raw energy shield. Obviously, if it had spirit on it, it'd be, I mean, I don't know if you can even get an energy shield that high with spirit on it, but either way, the mana regen implicit is huge. It made a big difference because I basically did these at the exact same time, corrupted that, added clarity, and got this with the mana regen. And I actually crafted one just like this. It was a tad worse though. I was like 880 or something. I actually crafted one that was 880, and what I did with that is I traded that one, and then I got this one, and it was 923 non-corrupted, and I was like, I'm gonna gamble, try to get that 1,000 dream, and like I said, it fell a little short, but anyways, so yeah, so I crafted one, and I don't remember if the res was off or why I ended up trading, because again, the one I crafted was very, very close to how good this one was. I guess not. No, I guess it was like 880, and that was with the 3 corrupts, so I gained 100 more technically. Anyways, so yeah, the mana regen on these two though made a huge difference, because obviously it's over 70 mana regen, right? This, another thing, I upgraded this, I believe, from the last time. I believe I had a 27%, and I upgraded this to a 30, because these are basically a div. At least that's what when I got this one, it was like a div and 20x or something is what I paid for this one, for a really high roll, almost perfect roll, honestly. But the 30%, I went from, you know, basically a 27% to a 30%, so that 3% max mana as extra energy shield difference gave me over 600 more energy shield. So it was a no-brainer. I mean, it's just a free, you know, over 600, at least for me, the way my setup was with how much energy shield I had and whatever, it turned out to be over 600 more energy shield alone just by getting that 3 extra percent. So I think it was worth the investment there. The focus is still the same as before, I believe. That's another thing I slammed. A lot of my gear I've either had to slam, I crafted and traded up, or like, I don't know. It's really hard to get gear, but I'm telling you, crafting, it takes a lot. Like, you have to craft, you have to gamble a little bit, but eventually you hit stuff either that you can trade or upgrade with, right? And that's a lot of what I've been doing. It's a tedious process, but it's been working consistently for me. The rings, as you guys know, same as before, they're super good. And again, these are crafted. This is crafted from scratch. This was slammed, and I still haven't changed them out. So the boots, probably different from last time. I think last time I had int on my boots and my gloves. Again, I tried to get that rarity up, so I got rid of those in favor of rarity. Again, I'm giving up quite a bit of damage. Realistically, I think I could be over 200k damage right now if I was all damage and no rarity. And that's not even being full blown like a full mana build yet, right? And imagine if I got like +3 skills on an amulet plus max, like, dude, the damage you can get on this is insane. But again, I'm going overall comfy, also budget friendly, within reason, right? A lot of the stuff I've crafted, I'm sure my value of my character is actually pretty high now. But again, it's just built up tediously over time, crafting and grinding. But yeah, rarity there. The rest is pretty much the same. The res I need to get what I need to get my cap, right? And again, my gloves, same thing. These are honestly probably my worst piece. I feel like overall this is my worst piece I have. It's because it had, and that's because it has 2 dead stats. I guess technically one is a split stat and then 1 dead stat. But either way, it's only got 130 mana, but it does have 30 rarity, and the res is good. It gets me what I need to get out of it. So for now, like I said, it works. And then, you guys, if you haven't noticed already, finally got myself the Ingenuity belt. Super excited, super happy. I'm probably going to try to get it better than that. This cost me 20 div, but it's non-corrupted. I plan on corrupting it eventually. Wish me luck when I do it. But I'm going to probably div it first. I'm going to try to get like 75 plus. Ideally before I corrupt it, and honestly I don't know when I'm gonna corrupt it, because probably when I have enough to back me up if I brick it or something, I don't know. But even as is at 67%, it made a big difference. It literally gave me more in every category, quite literally, right? And it's a big reason I'm able to get to that 300 rarity total, which again I feel like is the sweet spot. My rings though, combined with the Ingenuity, big part of that. And then obviously, like I said, added in my boots and my gloves, have a little bit of my helmet. It just, yeah, it works. Huge though. This thing is definitely worth the grind, the wait. Took me a long time to get it, but god dang, yeah, that thing is juicy. And then charms, you can see I got 2 rarity charms. The other day I ran a stun one and a freeze one, that way I didn't need icebreaker, and it worked. Like I wasn't getting stunned, I wasn't getting frozen really. But again, just overall, my currency drops, just raw currency drops, did not feel very good compared to when I had the 302. So I put these back in, and like I said, right off the rip today, again, guess what? Div right off the rip. Greater Jewel Orb, tons of exalts, and the map I'm in isn't even insane, like in terms of quantity or whatever. I'll go in it here in a second and I'll show you what I mean. But yeah, so that is that. Those are the gear updates, and then we go to the real juice, the passives, right? So this is, you can see I just added Icebreaker back in to be able to get my Rarity back. So again, I'm giving up a lot of damage in many different ways for Rarity, but I do think it's worth it, especially like I said, 150k flat DPS is with 5k energy shield, 6k mana. Like it's just it feels very, very comfy. But yeah, so you can see I came up over here just to save a little bit. I guess it saves 1 point, but well, it saves more because I get to go around this because I don't pick any of this up. It's just a way to min max, and honestly it's just more int, right? But I do come over here to grab, again, because I am running energy shield still. Eventually, if I do swap out, get a really good amulet, and I'm trying to craft one, if I do get one, I will try to swap to full mana at some point, I'm sure. But for now, like I said, you'll see I'm still getting, I'm still getting some stuff that has energy shield, but I gave up other points, you'll see, and I picked that back up in a lot of my jewels, which you'll see in a second here. But yeah, so I go over here, cast speed again to get my 5 cast speed. This helps. This I'd probably get no matter what, because 20 spell damage, 10 int right next to where I'm going. It's kind of a no-brainer. If I was way over cast speed, I'd probably get rid of this, especially once I get rid of that. But anyways, so yeah, come over here, max mana, of course, come down, that's worth it. 5% max mana is huge. 20 raw. This again, I'm getting until for the time being, it's a no-brainer. It's right there for not only the sun threshold, but again, energy shield. Come up here, come over here. This is pretty similar to what I had before. Again, you get max mana, max energy shield. It's a no-brainer to grab this if you're running both. Obviously, grab any kind of jewel socket you can get that's close to anywhere you're at. Is a literal no-brainer. You look at your jewels, you get potentially 4. And if you're running Adorned, you even get, honestly, I think Adorned is better. Eventually, I'm going to swap to Adorned, but again, I'm just not there yet. But so like I said earlier with the amulet, I guess I didn't say it on the amulet, right? But my amulet, if you saw it, allocates, I have it anointed for piercing shot. So it gives me 50% pierce. And then I gain the other 50% from these 3 jewels right here. So you see I have damage anywhere I can get it. This, honestly, the amount mana leash, I think, is a dead stat. That's just what I ended up getting when I slammed it. But yeah, you can see I pierce, that's priority, and at least the 3 to get my other 50%. And then I get either projectile speed or some kind of damage or like chance to shock, right? Anything that is beneficial for the build, just the best you could put together with what you can afford. That's what I did. I got rid of Arcane or Touch of the Arcane the other day, and like, because you don't get, I mean, I don't know, it gives you a little bit of a damage increase because obviously you get cast speed, right? But honestly, it felt bad because the mana regen, like, it was noticeable. I noticed that it gives you a pretty healthy amount of mana regen, especially if you don't have mana regen on a ring like me at the moment. In an ideal scenario, I'm going to try to replace one of my rings and get mana regen. But for now, I did try taking this off in favor of, again, more damage per se. But this does give you a little bit of damage, and then the mana regen, I feel like, at least for where I'm at with the build, definitely worth keeping. Go over here, you'll see that this is the only unique or legendary or whatever gem that I have so far. And honestly, it's not even the right one. It's just the best I could get. And it has fire res, which helped me cap. So for balance, it's just, again, I make do the best I can with what I can afford and or what I get, right? Or craft. This, in a perfect scenario, would be a massive ring rather than a very large ring. And the reason for that is if I get a massive ring, I'll still be able to get pure power, which is the only thing I'm getting at the moment, but it saves me 6 points to get elsewhere. And you'll see in a second here why. But in a perfect scenario, like I said, this would have a massive ring, and then I'd get pure power. For me, I am running crit, so I'd get controlling magic potentially. I would get lightning quick, and this kicker over here, the Eldritch Will. All of these are, and actually, honestly, I could get drenched if I really wanted, but you can see you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, at least for the way my build is at the moment, 4 super good, unique nodes or whatever they're called, the big nodes. But because I don't have a massive, the only one I can realistically reach, I could reach this one, but again, at the moment with where I'm at, I gave it up. But pure power is pretty mandatory. So, but it saves me 6 points, and like I said, if I get a massive, it's gonna be huge. That being said, you can still see the green. So the green, that's my weapon swap 2, like I was talking about earlier with conductivity, right? We have blink, conductivity, sigil power on there. That's what we use our swap 2 for. And it's all automated, like it's like I said in the skill section, or the skill portion, or whatever you want to call it, when I talked about it, how it works, like setting it up. It's just all automated. But another big reason for that is, like I said, you can use the weapons. You just activate your weapon swap. See how it says allocating points for weapon set 2. Anything you do that will turn a green line. And then if you do for 1, that turns orange, which you can see like right here, right? So orange is weapon set 1, which is my main, my wand focus setup. Weapon set 2 is green, which is, again, for mainly in the passives for conductivity, to just boost it in terms of duration. Basically you do that to a boss and it's going to last the whole time. I mean, most bosses die pretty quick anyway, but that being said, I'm not running conduit. I do think, if you're doing specific bossing, I do think adding conduit, lightning conduit, it's a no-brainer. It probably is going to get nerfed, I'm assuming, because lightning conduit with double shock is I don't know if it's working. Like, there's got to be something bugged with it. I don't know. It is literally insane for one-shotting bosses. I don't do it at the moment because I don't have the spirit to do it. Not that I wouldn't, but again, I'm kind of just building with what I have, going, staying true to what I've been trying to do the whole time, right? Which is kind of a crit based, for the most part, build with Spark. So, but yeah, so like I said, the curse stuff, that's for conductivity, weapon swap 2. That's what the green stuff is. And I'll show you, like I said, I kind of showed you guys my green gems. I only have 3 green gems at the moment for my Pierce. That being said, you can get movement speed with green gems. So once I swap off of energy shield, if I do, I definitely am going to get more movement speed, just because movement speed just makes any game like this feel better. But for now, a majority of my jewels are going to be blue, because that helps offset, because I got rid of a lot of the energy shield nodes, right? Well, I make it up in a lot of these jewels, right? So you'll see I have some form of damage. Almost every single jewel I have is going to be a form of damage. It's definitely going to have max energy shield, and it's going to more than likely have cast speed. Right, and then from there, it's like crit bonus, whether it's crit hit, crit damage, skill effect, something like that, mana regen. But the main 3 that I get, like I said, you'll see some type of damage, like elemental damage, spell damage, something like that, max energy shield, cast speed. Those 3 are like mandatory for me. And then the 4th one is, like I said, whatever I can fit, whether it's crit, mana regen, skill effect, something like that. That's at least for me. And then I have 1 jewel at the moment. I wish it was recover 2% mana on kill. But this is, again, just the best I could get. I did put 1 with a mana regen, you can see, and it just makes it feel a little bit better, like for mapping, to have at least 1 jewel with the mana on kill. But overall, most of them, like I said, it's going to be cast speed, max energy for sure, and then some type of damage. This one ended up, I guess, I gave up some cast speed in favor of that, right? But yeah, so those jewel wise, like I said, that's the main concept for me. Aside from that, you can see I kind of dropped the ether flow. I dropped a few things in favor of getting enough points to reach what I'm trying to reach. And you'll see, like, once we get over on this side of the thing, you'll see what I'm saying. So I am still running crit like I was, right? You'll see I came down a little bit further, grabbed another jewel spot. And then this, you'll see I gave up skill effect duration, and I gave up projectile speed up here, but that's because you can kind of go down here and basically get it anyway, like for the speed. But not only do you get projectile speed, you get projectile damage, and you get movement speed, right? It's kind of like, this is like a win-win section in my opinion, and you get the extra jewel socket right next to it. It's like, this to me was huge value. And originally I came over here, right? We were able to get Icebreaker for the first time. We were able to get Wild Storm, which I still think is worth. But then, like I said, when you look a little bit further, you really start to get it dialed in and min-maxed. And this is a really juicy zone right here. I can, again, if I wanted to give up my charms, just so you guys are aware, this is what I was giving up. I would take these 5 points out, and I'd move them into more damage. And then I put a stun charm and a freeze charm. And like I said, I get another almost 15k damage with these 5 points if I move them around. But I don't know. I feel like, again, that Rarity, that 300 sweets, I keep saying it, but for me, it just feels better, at least for now. And then you'll see we come down here, again, more jewels. You'll see we get a lot of jewel slots coming down. Jewel here, jewel here, jewel here, right? But so more crit stuff here, a lot of crit actually, and you get raw stats, right? You get strength on this one, int. And then if you look at this crit stuff up here, you get dex and int, and that actually helps me get my support gems without having to get, like, instead of int nodes, right? So it's just another way to min-max more int too, which is kind of nice. But yeah, and then you can see I have my anointed piercing shot. Come down here, like I said, another jewel, mana regen, skill effect, damage, energy shield. And then we got more skill speed here and more movement speed. And then we come down here and finally pick up that extra charm slot. And that's where I stop for now. Excuse me, sorry. I could go down, like I said, realistically, I could reach lightning rod. And I have messed around with, like, going down here and even going over here for polymathy. But for me, where I'm at right now in the build, especially because I'm running crit, like, this feels best overall to me for what I'm trying to do, right? As much rarity, well, 300 rarity is where I'm calling my sweet spot, at least for now. Like I said, 6k mana, 5k energy shield, 150k DPS. Like, I'm hitting all the points I want to hit overall with the build as is like this. But it doesn't mean, like I said, obviously I'm going to keep playing around, keep messing around, keep trying to make it better and better. But I did test lightning rod, and I did test, like I said, polymathy, and I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it, at least for what I'm doing at the moment. That being said, I did grab frazzled, and that felt good, right? So the magnitude stuff, that's actually one of the things I did. You don't actually gain any tooltip from this, but this is one of the last things I tried before I went back to Icebreaker. My throat has, like, something in it. I'm sorry. But yeah, frazzled felt really good. I don't know. Magnitude, again, I'm just starting to dabble into magnitude. And frazzled honestly felt better for me than lightning rod. That's through, like, very loose testing though, and really just kind of, like, feeling out the maps. I feel like I should give both a little bit more time to truly know, because obviously maps can vary in, you know, what is in them and whatever. But yeah, that extra magnitude was feeling real juicy, especially with the overcharge support gem. But yeah, all in all, I think that's pretty much it, right? We talked about, we went over the skills in depth, we went over the gear in depth, went over the passives in depth, a lot quicker this time, hopefully, anyway. And yeah, we're still building on it. We still got a lot to do, a lot to gain, a lot to improve, and that's what we'll continue to do. If you want to come check it out, twitch.tv/Merkadis, come kick it. That's the best place you're gonna find any, you know, info, you know, in real time. It sees it way before YouTube, of course, or TikTok, or wherever you're watching. But yeah, come kick it, hang out. If you have any insight of your own or any comments, obviously you can just leave a comment, ask, come to the stream, ask, whatever you want to do. But yeah, hopefully it helps, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Much love, y'all. Good luck with it, and like I said, I'll see you guys again real soon.